I was sitting in my beat-up truck after a 10-hour shift, sweat still soaking through my work shirt, when I saw the email. Subject line, modification of child support agreement. My hand started shaking before I even opened it. $1,200 a month was already stretching me thin, but this lawyer was asking for $3,600, triple. The email said it was for Emma's future, for music lessons and soccer clubs, and a stable home environment. My 7-year-old daughter. I would do anything for her. But something felt wrong. Emma had never mentioned music lessons, and $3,600. That was nearly my entire paycheck. I stared at those numbers on my cracked phone screen, feeling like the worst father in the world for even questioning it. But over the next 3 months, I would discover something that made my blood boil. Before I tell you what I discovered, I would love to know where you are watching from. Drop your city in the comments below. If you have ever felt like someone was taking advantage of your love for your kids, hit that like button, because you are not alone. And subscribe, because this story has a twist that will make you rethink everything you thought you knew about trust. All right, let me take you back to where this all started. I met Jessica when we were both 24 at a country music concert in Nashville. She had this laugh that cut through the crowd, bright and unfiltered. We fell fast. Within a year, we were married in her parents' backyard under string lights. Emma arrived when I was 25, and for the first time in my life, I understood what people meant when they said, "Your heart could walk around outside your body." Those first 4 years were good. I worked as an electrician, pulling in around $4,500 a month. Jessica did marketing for a small startup that was just beginning to find its footing. We lived modestly, saved what we could, and talked about Emma's college fund over dinner. But cracks started forming after Jessica's company hit it big. Suddenly, she was around people who drove luxury cars and wore designer clothes. She started wanting things we could not afford: a bigger house, a newer car, vacations to places I had only seen in magazines. I wanted to save for Emma's future. She wanted to live for right now. The arguments about money became weekly, then daily. It felt like we were speaking different languages. When Emma turned 5, Jessica asked for a divorce. It was civil enough. We agreed on a 70-30 custody split with her as the primary parent, and I would pay $1,200 a month in child support. It gutted me to sign those papers, but I told myself Emma's happiness came first. After the divorce, I moved into a 1-bedroom apartment on the outskirts of Portland. It was small, with thin walls and a leaky faucet I kept meaning to fix, but it was mine, and more importantly, it was Emma's every other weekend. Those weekends became everything to me. We had our routines: Saturday morning pancakes with chocolate chips, Sundays at the park pushing her on the swings until my arms ached, movie nights on my worn couch with popcorn and her favorite animated films. I lived paycheck to paycheck, but I never missed a single child support payment, not once. On my kitchen counter, I kept a small jar labeled Emma's College Fund. Every month I managed to put in $200. It was not much, but it was something. My relationship with Jessica stayed cordial. We texted only about pickup times and Emma's doctor appointments. I accepted this new normal because I had Emma, and that was enough. My apartment was quiet. My life was simple. I was okay with that. I had to be. Then came that Wednesday evening in March. I had just finished a particularly brutal 10-hour day rewiring an old office building. My back hurt. My hands were covered in small cuts. I climbed into my truck and checked my phone before heading home. That is when I saw it. An email from Hartley & Associates law firm. My stomach dropped before I even read the words. The email was formal and cold. Jessica was requesting a modification to our child support agreement. She wanted $3,600 per month. The breakdown was itemized: $300 for music lessons, $250 for a soccer club, new school supplies, a clothing allowance. The list went on. At the bottom, in bold letters, to ensure Emma receives the quality of life she deserves and a stable home environment. I read it 3 times. Each time the number looked more impossible. $3,600 was nearly everything I made. How was I supposed to eat, pay rent, keep gas in my truck? But the guilt hit harder than the panic. Was I shortchanging my daughter? Did Emma need things I was not providing? I sat in that parking lot for 20 minutes, staring at the steering wheel, feeling like I was drowning. When I finally drove home, I called Jessica immediately. She picked up on the 4th ring, her voice already defensive. "Dylan, Emma deserves better. You know that," she said, before I could even speak. "I am already paying everything I can," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. "How am I supposed to—" She cut me off. "Figure it out. Marcus and I have been discussing Emma's needs, and she needs stability." My brain stuttered. "Wait. Marcus, who is Marcus?" "My partner," she said simply. "He cares about Emma's future." The line went quiet. I felt something cold settle in my chest. Jessica had a boyfriend, and he was involved in decisions about my daughter. She was making demands about my money while building a life with someone I had never even heard of. I hung up without saying goodbye. That night I did not sleep. I stared at my ceiling and made a decision. If Emma needed $3,600, I would find a way to give it to her, even if it killed me. April, May, and June became a blur of exhaustion. I started working 6 days a week, picking up every overtime shift available. On Sundays, I did freelance electrical work, fixing wiring in people's homes for cash. My income climbed to around $6,000 a month, but I was running on fumes. I woke up at 5:30 every morning and did not get home until 9 at night. Dinner became gas station sandwiches eaten in my truck. I canceled my $30 a month gym membership. I stopped putting money into Emma's college fund. For the first time since the divorce, I had to borrow $500 from a friend just to cover rent. The weekends with Emma were the only thing keeping me going, but even those were different now. I was so tired, I could barely keep my eyes open. Instead of taking her to the movies, we went to the free park. Instead of restaurants, we made sandwiches at home. Emma was too young to notice, but I noticed. One Saturday, she looked up at me while we were playing catch and asked, "Daddy, why do you look so tired?" I forced a smile. "Just working hard for you, sweetheart." But inside, I was crumbling. Then came the first Sunday in July. Emma was helping me make pizza at home because ordering out was too expensive now. She was rolling dough flour, dusting her little hands, and she started talking the way kids do, innocent and unfiltered. "Daddy, guess what? Marcus took us to this really cool restaurant last week. They had a chocolate fountain." I kept my hands busy spreading sauce. "Oh yeah, what restaurant, baby?" "I do not remember the name, but Mommy said it was fancy. We had lobster. It was red and weird." My heart started pounding. Lobster in Portland was not cheap, $40 or $50 a person at least. I kept my voice light. "That sounds fun," Emma kept going, oblivious. "And Marcus got a new car. It is silver and really shiny. He let me sit in the front seat. Mommy said we might go to Disneyland soon. Have you ever been to Disneyland, Daddy?" Every word felt like a knife. I forced myself to ask the question I needed answered. "That sounds great, honey. What about those music lessons Mommy mentioned?" Emma looked confused. "Music lessons? I do not have music lessons. But I did get new Barbies. Marcus bought me 5 of them." The room tilted. $300 a month for music lessons that did not exist. $250 for a soccer club Emma was not part of. I felt sick. Where was the $3,600 actually going? That night after I dropped Emma back at Jessica's house, I could not sleep. I opened Instagram, something I rarely used. Jessica and I still followed each other because of Emma. I had not checked her profile in months. When I scrolled through her recent posts, my hands started shaking. Photo after photo of a life I did not recognize. Her at upscale restaurants, captions like, "Date night with my love," with a heart emoji tagged to someone named Marcus Bellamy. A gleaming silver BMW in her driveway with the caption, "New ride blessed." Check-ins at luxury spas, weekend getaways at beach resorts. a designer handbag with "treated myself" and a shopping bag emoji. Every post was dated within the last 3 months, since she asked for more money. I clicked on Marcus's profile, 35 years old. Entrepreneur in his bio, photos with Jessica everywhere, posts about building empires and luxury lifestyles. His most recent post showed him leaning against that BMW with Jessica beside him. The caption read, "When you and your queen deserve the best." I took screenshots of everything, my hands trembling with rage. I did the math in my head. A $50,000 BMW. Weekly fine dining that probably cost $200 or $300 each time. Designer bags worth thousands. Resort weekends over $1,000. Jessica's salary had not changed. I knew she still worked at the same company, so where was all this money coming from? I called her at 11 that night. I did not care that it was late. "Jessica, I need you to be honest with me," I said when she picked up. "Where is the money I am sending going?" "What are you talking about?" Her voice was sharp defensive. "It is for Emma. Emma told me she does not have music lessons. She does not do soccer. So where is the $3,600 going?" There was a long pause. "That is none of your business, how I manage Emma's expenses." "I have seen your Instagram," I said, my voice rising. "The car, the restaurants, the trips. You are using my money to fund your lifestyle with Marcus." "You are being ridiculous," she snapped. "Marcus and I are building a life together, and Emma benefits from that stability." "Stability!" I was almost shouting now. "I am working myself to death while you and your boyfriend spend my money on lobster dinners." Her voice went ice cold. "If you cannot afford to support your daughter properly, maybe we should revisit custody." The threat hung in the air like poison. Then she hung up. I sat in the dark, my whole body shaking. She had threatened to take Emma away from me, and I felt completely powerless. The next morning I called Tom. We had been friends since high school, and he was now a family lawyer in Portland. We met at a small coffee shop downtown. I told him everything. The email demanding more money. Emma's innocent comments about things that did not add up. The Instagram posts showing a lifestyle Jessica could not afford on her own. The phone call and her threat about custody. Tom listened, his expression growing more serious with every detail. When I finished, he leaned back and exhaled slowly. "Dylan, this is misuse of child support funds. It is actually illegal," he said. "Child support is for the child's direct needs, food, shelter, clothing, education, not for the parent's lifestyle or their new partner's car." "What can I do?" I asked, feeling the first flicker of hope in months. "You have grounds to request a modification and possibly reclaim misused funds," Tom said. He pulled out a legal pad and started writing. "Here is what we need to do. First, gather all the evidence you have. Screenshots, bank statements, if you can get them, any witness testimony. Second, we hire a private investigator to document their spending patterns. Third, we file a motion to reduce the child support back down and investigate the misuse." "How much will this cost?" I asked already, knowing I could not afford it. "A private investigator will run you around $3,000 for a thorough investigation. As for my legal fees—" He paused. "I will do the legal work pro bono. You are my friend Dylan, but you need to pay for the investigator." I did not have $3,000. I barely had $300, but I nodded. "I will find a way." 2 days later, I met with Mr. Harrison, the private investigator Tom recommended. He was 62, a retired police detective with kind eyes and a no-nonsense attitude. I gave him everything I had: Jessica's address, the license plate number of the BMW, screenshots from social media. He listened, took notes, and nodded. "I will need 2 weeks," he said. "Trust me, if they are spending like you say they are, I will find proof." Those 2 weeks felt like 2 years. I went to work. I came home. I played with Emma on my weekends. But inside I was wound tight, waiting. When Mr. Harrison finally called, his voice was calm but firm. "Dylan, you need to see this. Can you come to my office?" I drove there during my lunch break. He had a thick file waiting on his desk. When he opened it, I saw surveillance photos, financial documents, and typed reports. "This is textbook misuse," he said, sliding the first set of photos toward me. The photos showed Jessica and Marcus at 5 different upscale restaurants over 2 weeks, receipts totaling over $800, shopping bags from Nordstrom, clearly expensive items, a weekend at a seaside resort that probably cost $1,200 for 2 nights. There were witness statements, too. A neighbor said Jessica and Marcus had just renovated their kitchen, guessing it cost around $20,000. A barista at a nearby coffee shop confirmed Jessica came in every day and always ordered the most expensive drinks for herself and her boyfriend. But the most damning evidence was the financial records. Mr. Harrison had legally obtained Jessica's bank statements. Every month there was a deposit of $1,200 from me. And every month there were large withdrawals, $500 at a jewelry store, $800 at a furniture store, $1,000 in cash. But nowhere, not a single transaction showed payments to music schools, sports clubs, or tutoring services. "The timeline is clear," Mr. Harrison said, pointing to a chart he had made. "She requested the increase on March 1st. Marcus bought the BMW on March 15th. 2 weeks later, the pattern is obvious. More money comes in, their lifestyle goes up." I stared at the file, feeling vindicated and furious all at once. "This is enough." "More than enough," he said. "You have a very strong case." Tom prepared the legal filings immediately. A motion to reduce child support back to $1,200, a request for an investigation into misuse of funds, a petition to increase my custody time from 30% to 50%. We attached 47 pages of evidence, photos, financial records, timelines, witness statements. The motion was filed in August. Jessica received it through her lawyer. According to Tom, her attorney called him within hours, angry and defensive. "Your client is being vindictive," the lawyer had said. "This is harassment." Tom's response was calm. "My client has 47 pages of evidence. See you in court." The first mediation session was tense. Jessica and Marcus showed up together, both dressed formally, trying to look composed. Marcus had an arrogant air about him, like he owned the room. At one point he leaned forward and said, "Dylan is just jealous because I can provide better for Emma." I bit my tongue. Tom did the talking. He presented the evidence piece by piece. Photos of the BMW, restaurant receipts, social media posts, bank statements showing no payments for the supposed lessons and activities. The mediator's face changed as Tom spoke, from neutral to surprised to openly disapproving as she looked at Jessica. Jessica's lawyer leaned over and whispered something to her. Her face went pale. The mediation ended without resolution. We were going to court. The courtroom was small and plain. Judge Thompson presided, a woman in her 60s with sharp eyes and a reputation for no-nonsense rulings in family court. Tom presented our case methodically. He showed the bank statements proving I had never missed a payment. He played a video of Emma recorded in a private session with the judge, where my daughter said in her small, confused voice, "I do not have music lessons. Daddy always asks about them, but I do not know what they are." Tom displayed the social media evidence on a screen. The judge looked at each photo, her expression hardening. The private investigator's report was entered as evidence, complete with the timeline showing how Jessica's spending spiked exactly when my payments increased. Jessica's lawyer tried to argue that these expenses indirectly benefited Emma by providing a stable home environment. Judge Thompson was not having it. "A stable home does not require $40,000 cars and designer handbags," she said sharply. Then the judge turned to Jessica directly. "Miss Anderson, can you show me receipts for these music lessons?" Jessica's face turned red. I was planning to enroll Emma." "So you requested $3,600 monthly for services that do not exist?" the judge asked. Jessica said nothing. Judge Thompson did not wait. She delivered her ruling right there. Child support was reduced back to $1,200 per month. Jessica was ordered to repay $7,200, representing 3 months of overpayment at $2,400 per month. My custody was increased to 50-50. And then the judge gave a warning that made Jessica flinch. Misuse of child support is a serious matter, Miss Anderson. You are fortunate I am not pursuing fraud charges. Consider this your only warning. Outside the courthouse, I stood on the steps, breathing in the cool air. Tom hugged me. You did it, brother. Jessica and Marcus walked past, quickly avoiding eye contact. I did not feel triumphant. I felt sad. Sad that it had come to this. Sad that Emma had been caught in the middle. But I also felt relief. Justice had been served. That night I texted Emma. See you Friday, sweetheart. Dad loves you. The $7,200 Jessica repaid cleared my debts and went straight into Emma's college fund. It felt right putting that money where it always should have gone. With 50-50 custody, Emma was now with me 3 or 4 days every week. I used some of the money to fix up my apartment. I bought a bunk bed for Emma and decorated her area with princess stickers she picked out herself. We painted one wall lavender, her favorite color. Our new routine fell into place naturally. Tuesday and Thursday evenings, I picked Emma up from school. We would cook dinner together, do her homework at the kitchen table, and read books before bed. Weekends were for adventures. We went hiking on trails near Portland. We spent hours at the public library checking out stacks of books. We visited the farmer's market where Emma loved picking out fresh strawberries. These activities did not cost much, sometimes nothing at all, but they were rich in the ways that mattered. One evening, Emma was sitting on the couch coloring while I washed dishes. She looked up at me and said, "I like staying at your place, Daddy. You always have time to talk." That sentence hit me harder than any courtroom verdict. Emma did not need fancy restaurants or luxury cars. She needed presence. She needed someone who listened when she talked about her day at school. Someone who noticed when she was sad and asked why. Someone who made her feel safe. My relationship with Jessica remained cold but civil. We only communicated through text about pickup and drop-off times. I heard through mutual acquaintances that her relationship with Marcus had fallen apart after the court case. He was no longer in the picture. Part of me felt bad for her, but mostly I just felt tired of it all. One evening after putting Emma to bed, I sat on the small porch outside my apartment with a cup of coffee. The sun was setting, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink. I let myself think back over everything that had happened. I used to blame myself for the marriage failing. I thought maybe if I had made more money, bought Jessica nicer things, she would have stayed. But now I understood. It was never about money. It was about values. She wanted a lifestyle. I wanted a life. I did not hate her. I just felt sad for her. Sad that she had lost sight of what actually mattered. Fighting back had been the hardest thing I had ever done. I am not a confrontational person by nature, but I learned that sometimes love means standing up, not for yourself, but for what is right. If I had stayed silent, Jessica would have kept taking advantage, and worse, Emma would have learned that manipulation was acceptable. For months I had believed I was failing Emma by not providing $3,600. I had tortured myself working until my body screamed in protest, convinced that money equaled love. But Emma did not need that much money. She needed me. The best things I gave her cost nothing: my time, my attention, my love. Those were the things no amount of money could fake. I used to measure being a good father by how much I could give Emma materially. Now I measured it by how present I was. Did I listen when she talked about her day? Did I notice when something was bothering her? Did I make her feel safe and loved? That was real wealth. One Saturday morning in November, Emma and I were making our traditional pancakes. She was standing on a stool at the counter, flour dusting her nose and cheeks, giggling as she dumped chocolate chips into the batter with abandon. "Daddy, I put chocolate chips in mine," she announced proudly. "I can see that, sweetheart," I said, laughing. "Those are going to be the best pancakes ever." We cooked them together, flipping them carefully and cheering when they turned out golden brown. We ate breakfast on the couch plates, balanced on our laps, watching cartoons. Emma leaned her head against my shoulder, syrup on her chin, completely content. "Daddy," she said softly. "Yeah, baby. I am happy when I am with you." My heart squeezed. I kissed the top of her head. "I am happy when I am with you too, sweetheart." This moment was everything. No fancy restaurant could create this feeling. No expensive car could buy this kind of peace. Just me and my daughter eating pancakes on a second-hand couch in a small apartment, perfectly happy. This was the real victory, not the courtroom judgment, not getting the money back. It was Emma feeling happy and loved. It was knowing that she felt safe with me. That was worth more than anything else in the world. If you are going through something similar, if someone is taking advantage of your love, your money, or your trust, I want you to know this. Standing up for yourself does not make you vindictive. It makes you strong. Your kids do not need the most expensive life. They need the most genuine one. And sometimes the people who hurt you the most end up teaching you the biggest lessons about what really matters. I am not bitter anymore. I am free. Free from guilt. Free from feeling like I was never enough. Free to just be the father Emma needs, not the ATM Jessica wanted. Emma asked me the other day if I was mad at her mom. I told her, "No, sweetheart, I am just grateful I get to be your dad." And that is the only truth that matters now. Have you ever been in a situation where someone took advantage of your kindness? Drop a comment below and share your story. I would love to hear from you. If this story resonated with you, please hit that like button and subscribe to this channel for more real-life stories. And if you know someone who needs to hear this, share this video with them. Sometimes knowing you are not alone makes all the difference. Thank you so much for listening to my story. I hope it reminded you that standing up for what is right is always worth it, even when it is hard. Take care of yourselves and the people you love. Until next time.